It was a cold, foggy evening in the small town of Ravenswood. Detective Henry Grayson sat in his dimly lit office, sipping on a cup of steaming coffee. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, and the sound of rain tapping against the window filled the room. Grayson was a seasoned detective, known for solving the most puzzling cases. But tonight, something felt different. A sharp knock on the door broke the silence. Grayson looked up to see a young woman, drenched from the rain, standing in the doorway. Her face was pale, and her hands trembled as she clutched a black envelope. "Detective Grayson, I need your help," she said, her voice shaking. "My uncle, Professor Harold Whitaker, has gone missing. And I found this in his study." She handed him the envelope. Grayson opened it carefully and pulled out a single black candle. It was cold to the touch and had a strange, eerie aura. "A black candle?" Grayson muttered, raising an eyebrow. "There were 6 of them," the woman explained. "But now, only 5 remain. I don't know what it means, but I fear something terrible has happened to my uncle." Grayson leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. "Tell me everything." The woman, whose name was Clara, explained that her uncle was a retired history professor who had recently become obsessed with ancient rituals and legends. He had been researching a mysterious cult that was said to have existed in Ravenswood centuries ago. According to local folklore, the cult used 6 black candles in their rituals, each representing a different sin. When all 6 candles were lit, it was believed that something dark and unnatural would awaken. "My uncle was convinced the cult's secrets were hidden somewhere in Ravenswood," Claire said. "But now he's gone, and I don't know what to do." Grayson stood up and grabbed his coat. "Take me to his house." "We'll start there." The Whitaker mansion was an old, creaky building on the edge of town. As Grayson, Clara entered, the air felt heavy, and the faint scent of burnt wax lingered. The study was in disarray, books and papers scattered everywhere, and in the center of the room, a circle of 5 black candles stood on a wooden table. Grayson examined the candles. They were identical to the one Clara had brought him. He noticed a faint symbol carved into each candle, a different symbol for each one. "These symbols," Grayson said, pointing to the carvings. "Do you know what they mean?" Clara shook her head. "No, but my uncle mentioned something about a hidden map. He believed it would lead him to the cult's final resting place." Grayson began searching the room. He opened drawers, flipped through books, and even checked under the rug. Finally, he found a small, hidden compartment in the desk. Inside was a piece of parchment with a map drawn on it. The map showed a path leading to the old Ravenswood cemetery. "This must be what he was looking for," Grayson said. "But why did he leave without telling anyone?" Clara's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know, but we have to find him." The cemetery was shrouded in mist as Grayson and Clara arrived. The map led them to an ancient mausoleum hidden deep within the grounds. The door was slightly ajar, and a faint glow came from inside. Grayson pushed the door open and stepped inside. The air was cold, and the walls were lined with strange symbols. In the center of the mausoleum stood Professor Whitaker, holding the 6th black candle. His eyes were wide with fear. "Professor Whitaker," Grayson called out. The professor turned to them, his face pale. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. "It's too late. The ritual has begun." Before Grayson could react, the candles around the room suddenly lit themselves, casting an eerie glow. The symbols on the walls began to glow as well. Beneath them shook. "We need to get out of here," Grayson shouted, grabbing Clara's hand. But the professor stood frozen, staring at the candles. "I was wrong," he said. "The cult's power is real. I thought I could control it, but I was wrong. The shaking grew stronger, and the air filled with a low, ominous hum. Grayson knew they had to act fast. He grabbed the sixth candle from the professor's hand and blew it out. The other candles flickered and went dark, and the shaking stopped. The room fell silent. Back at the mansion, Grayson and Clara sat with Professor Whitaker as he explained everything. He had been lured by the promise of uncovering the cult's secrets, but had underestimated the danger. The 6 black candles were a key to something far more sinister than he had imagined. "Thank you, Detective," Clara said, her voice filled with gratitude. "If it weren't for you, we might have lost my uncle forever." Grayson nodded, but his mind was still on the candles. He knew the cult's secrets were still out there, waiting to be discovered. But for now, the case was closed. As he left the mansion, Grayson couldn't shake the feeling that the 6 black candles were just the beginning of something much larger. And in the quiet town of Ravenswood, darkness always had a way of returning.